Hi, I'm Chris.
I'm Bebbo.
And I'm Millsy.
Each week, we're going to unleash the thrill of sporting discourse as we debate some of the hottest topics across the globe.
With insightful analysis, diverse perspectives, and engaging discussions, we strive to entertain and inform as we tug at the fabric of social morality.
We dive into the ultimate court of conversation and feel the friction of mass debated sports. All right, let's jump into some Euros chat then. I've got some major talking points from the competition, which I'll run through, and then I'll ask you chaps about some of your favourite points and if you've been following it at all. So Georgia's historic performance is definitely something that stood up for me. So Georgia made headlines by advancing to the knockout stage for the first time in a major tournament and defeating Portugal 2-0, which was beautiful to watch, in one of the biggest upsets in Euros history based on FIFA rankings. So Georgia's, I'm going to butcher this, Georgia's Mikudze has been a standout in all the group stages, and he's definitely caught the eyes, and no doubt he'll be offered a lucrative deal from Chelsea FC at the end of this competition because he's the next best thing since sliced bread according to them, and he'll be a flop. Watch his space. Slovakia's upset over Belgium also grabbed my attention. So Slovakia shot Belgium, beating them 1-0. This marked the biggest upset, chaps, in Euro history based on FIFA rankings. So Belgium are ranked third and obviously were heavily favoured and couldn't overcome Slovakia's resilience in defence, and a disallowed goal from Lukaku summarised their night out. So again, lovely to see. Although I do quite like the Belgian team. They got some pretty
You know what I love about
players.
Both those upsets there, Millsy?
Mm-hmm.
They were both my multi picks the other way. I took both favourites in those last episode as my multi, and they both fucking lost.
Well, that's why they won. People at this point should just pick the opposite teams that we select.
Yeah, I'm
do them
taking
a favour.
Wales in game 3. I'll tell you that much.
We should just go, hedge our bets. Bet Chris go from New South Wales 1 to 12. Bebbo 13 to 20. Yeah. So this is also a good one. I don't know if you fellows caught up with this, but Ukraine's early exit. So Ukraine became the first team in Euros history to finish fourth in a group with 4 points, and obviously didn't come through, which is quite unusual. I mean, England went through with 5 points at top of their group. To think that another team ended with 4 points and came last in their group, that's an outstanding stat, but not in Ukraine's favour.
Everyone that pool won one, drew one, lost one, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a pretty hectic one. So, that was interesting to see. Quite sad because Ukraine's obviously got a bit going on, and it would have been good for the country to unite behind something perhaps. But Turkey's revival. So Turkey have advanced to the knockout stage for the first time since 2008. So they've been basically demonstrating significant improvements from their previous two appearances. And they beat Czech Republic 2-1 to secure their place, which was good to see. And they've got some pretty good young talent there as well, so they might be here to stay, which would be good. And then last but definitely not least, Ronaldo's struggles. So Ronaldo's failed to score in the group stage of a major competition for the first time in his career. And also, is obviously a massively notable departure from his usual prolific form, which I would sort of hasten to argue against. But that is the general conception about what's going on with him. I think he's a bit of a one-man team. But just generally, chaps, have you caught much of the Euros, Chris? Have you been following it at all?
Mate, I haven't, and I typically am like probably 99% of Australia who will tune in for the semis or the finals. but my takeaways in it are sort of like looking through it and looking at some of the matches and the highlights and that. I think obviously Germany would be hard to beat given the home advantage. and given the amount of goals that they've been piling on too, they've been scoring sort of some pretty decent scores there. And I think
before we jump into that, just what you were saying about the coverage in Australia, just if you're a listener and you wanted to sort of get up to speed with the comp, just as we're sort of entering quarterfinals now, the round of 16 is done. Jump onto YouTube. Optus Sport have got some really good 3-minute videos of all the highlights and all the matches. I do recommend watching them because soccer at the best times is boring. Even though the highlights, I mean, it's all what you can get out of soccer matches. The highlights, isn't it? 3 minutes.
They've padded those 3 minutes too. I'll tell you what, it's a minute and a half of national anthems. It's got to be, surely.
Oh yeah, but that's what I mean with soccer. Like, I would not recommend sitting through 90 minutes of how many matches are we up to now? 44 matches. That's a lot of time invested. Just flick onto the Optus Sport 3-minute little thingy and play it on double speed, and you'll get a flavour of it. But just have a look at the fans though.
Only? Is it exclusive to Optus only? It's not on SBS or anything like that.
Oh, I don't know actually. I've been watching it on Optus, but
what about the England games?
Exclusive.
So you're just watching the 3-minute England game? Does that mean
just with the timing of them? I'd rather not watch them because it's early morning.
Does that mean if they win, you get 3 minutes of celebration? So on the next podcast or in a couple of weeks' time, we give you 3 minutes to discuss. Look, they're not going to win it anyway. They're shit. They are.
If you give me, if I had 3 minutes to celebrate, I'd be outstanded. I would be outstanded on this podcast. I reckon I'll probably get 30 seconds, if that. So I'll take the 3 minutes. Yeah, exactly. We all know how long 30 seconds is, chap. So 3 minutes would just be a blessing.
A lifetime. So. Yeah.
Hey, but don't smear England through it. We'll just save them the best till when it matters. We've only got to beat Slovakia, Switzerland, Netherlands, or Turkey, and then we play probably one of the best 4 teams in the competition the other side of the draw. So it's all in our favour at the moment. But yeah, Chris, I cut you off there with your diagnosis of teams and stuff. Germany, you reckon, are going to be tough to beat?
They'll be tough to beat, obviously, given the home ground advantage. And obviously Spain, they, up until the round of 16, they'd gone through without a goal being scored against them. And then Georgia scored a goal in the previous game for them to go through 4-1.
Unfortunately, Spain scored 4 more, though.
That's exactly right. So,
Spain,
so Spain are putting on some goals too. I think whoever gets out of that, whoever gets out of that matchup there goes on and wins it. I think.
I agree.
I think with France, I think with Mbappe, I saw he's wearing that face mask because he broke his nose. Yeah, so that'll. I mean, obviously he's a great player, but I think that'll obviously hamper his performance. And I don't even think he's in the goal scoring.
He hasn't scored yet, I don't think.
No,
I think he scored last match, actually.
He might have scored last match, but in terms
No, he didn't. It was that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So I mean,
he's been struggling with that mask. He's been fiddling with it during the matches.
Correct. I think it's been pretty off-putting for him. And when you look at the goal scoring tallies and the players, so obviously there's a German chap in there. Lusak, Luke Cragg. I think Luke Cragg. So I think Germany's got 2 or 3 players who are, on 2 goals, and I think they've got one of their players is atop the leaderboard, tie for third, the tie. 3-way tie on top of the leaderboard. So anyway, point of that is that I think that Germany are just putting goals away at will at the moment, and I think given the home ground advantage, and whoever gets out of that matchup, Spain v Germany, I think it's going to go and take it. But what do you think, Bebbo?
You know what? I actually, obviously, I don't watch soccer, but I've been following results, and I have Spain winning it myself. But I'm the same thought there. Whoever wins that game, Spain versus Germany, it's probably the best 2 teams right there so far in the tournament. So whoever wins that, I'm picking to go on to win it. But I'm going to tip Spain because you got to pick a side there. And look, I think it's going to be tough. I know Germany's probably been training real hard at their concentrated training camps, concentration training camps at the start of the tournament. So they are probably primed on home soil, and they're probably ready to smoke the people that they aren't going to tolerate of different nationalities. So potentially Germany is the favourite, but I'm going to tip Spain there.
Nice, mate. Some Dildon entendres within, which is. I
must say though, I must say, to give the Euros and obviously even the FIFA World Cup, they are the two best sort of comps for, I guess, parity across the competition. Yeah. I don't like football. I don't like soccer. It's a fucking boring shit sport. But,
the jeopardy's there though.
But the tournaments, like the competition, the fact that anyone really, not everybody's got a chance, but everybody's got a tiny shot to at least make that round of 16. And once they're there, well, you just got to keep kicking on. It's pretty good to watch some of the big guys fall. I mean, Italy scraped in, and then got eliminated their first game, and didn't they win it last year?
Yeah, beat England in the final, or 4 years ago. Yeah.
So it's it's good to see that when it starts, you can't necessarily just go, okay, it's going to be one or two teams that win. It can be 16 teams that can win it. So I do like that, but
when was the last time England won the Euros?
It's just too boring.
Have we ever won it?
Well, they left the European Union, didn't they? So they shouldn't even be allowed in.
It was 1966.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
1966 was the last time we won the World Cup.
Was.
Yeah,
last and only. I actually don't know if we have won the Euros. This is bad.
You say 1966?
Yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time Australia won it?
And was that only because they had murdered people during the Crusades that all those other teams were so deplenished during that point in time? Or what? I mean, that's why Italy would have been decent, right?
True. I mean, that was, yeah.
I know the centuries don't add up, mate. I'm just...
No. I was just trying to think, in relation to World War II, but it's 20 years after, so... Yeah, but, never won the Euros. I do think they've got a good shot, though, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. So we previously mentioned that the EPL is definitely the toughest league in probably the world, and obviously England haven't got... Well, all the players are going to be depleted. They don't have the same stand-down periods and rest periods as some of the other leagues, so they play the most matches out of every league. So I still think there's an opportunity. And I don't think Southgate, England manager, is the best tactician, but he's definitely driven more passion into that team than previous managers, and I still have faith that he's given England some well-grounded behaviours, which are definitely required in soccer, because in previous times we didn't even have people singing the national anthem. It's sort of it's horrendous, but I think he's very aware of their player situations, and I don't think he's making them play too hard. But also, we haven't had to play very well, and we're still made it through into a fantastic. It's just top the group. Got Switzerland in the round of 16, which is arguably the weakest team in there. And we've definitely not played our best football, and we have got possibly the best player in the world in Jude Bellingham, who has got lots of potential to give way. And you don't want to be playing your best football. You don't want to be giving away all your secrets, playing lesser teams. You want to wait till when it matters. So what I'd like to see the performance against.
What I'm hearing is you scraped in.
Yeah, that's 100% what I'm hearing too, Chris. I'll tell you, you know what's funny about this? Have you ever heard of peaking as an athlete, peaking?
Yeah.
So Olympians and that, and they've got to build up, and then peak at the right time to win gold. Yeah. They don't scrape into the 100-metre final by not showing their best running. They wouldn't even fucking make the final if they didn't turn up for that.
Mate, you're talking to a man,
but it's not running, though.
You're talking to a man who watches 3-minute videos.
They've had a weak entry.
no
They're fantastic on the
3 minute
3-minute edits. Yeah.
They're not in good nick. They're going to get ousted just like the cricket team, mate.
But it's not. Don't come atting me at cricket, mate. Australia got knocked out before England.
I'll tell you why I don't think they're going to. I'll tell you why I don't think they're going to win. My opinion, because they're chokers, mate. And I say that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. 100% agree.
And I say that as an All Black supporter during World Cups.
Yeah.
We are the perennial chokers at World Cups, right?
Well,
so I think I just think
it's
England,
no longer a monkey on our back; it's freaking King Kong. It's bad.
It's not coming home.
No, I just think I think if you get through to the final, I think it's just going to be too heavy. The crown will be too heavy to wear, and I just think they'll, especially if it's against Germany. In Germany,
they won't even get the final. Netherlands will knock them out.
I don't know. I honestly, just every game as it comes, every game if we win is a blessing. I'll be happy to beat Switzerland, and
that's loser talk.
I know it sounds ridiculous.
That is loser talk.
But I've got ahead of myself for 29 years. Oh, I didn't know what soccer was really for the first 5 years of my life, but okay, call it 24 years, right? Every time, we've got a good team, decent squad, we can go far. At this point, I'm just like, every win I'll take as a victory. Because like you said, Chris, we are perennial chokers. Final last year against Italy was painful to watch, and then we've lost to Croatia a couple of times in like the World Cup in 2018, I think it was, and or 2016. That was just you just lose to Croatia. Like,
can I say one thing? Can I say one thing? And I genuinely mean this. I would like to see England win it because I know, having lived in the UK for 2 years, I know how much it would mean to the UK, to the English people, to win something like that. Because
yuck.
No, because soccer is to the
think of the dentist business.
Rugby is to the Kiwis, and so for me, it's like I know how much it would mean to them, and it would light that place on fire. Could you imagine being in a pub in the UK in the final? And they win 1-0, or they win a penalty. Like regardless how they win, it would be what an absolute night that would be. Oh
yeah, any pub. Even like when we went back in 2022 over Christmas, we watched. It was the World Cup. Who did we play? We got knocked out by France. That was it in the semis. We were in a pub. We were 1-0 up. It was amazing. Atmosphere was going nuts. Everyone, absolutely everyone, no matter who you were, what your background was, hugging each other. It's great atmosphere to be in. And and then we lost, so that was sad. But it was good while it lasted.
I was going to ask that question. How does the EPL tribalism go when it comes to uniting as a country? Because you guys like to stab each other in the street.
I tell you what, it is amazing. It just vanishes, right? Yeah. People who think soccer there's nothing else to life other than soccer, and their club is the be all and end all. That goes straight out the window when England play, and it's all you're just United. And don't mean in reference to Manchester United, United as a nation. Like it's so weird. It's so weird. People just come out of the woodwork for it, and even your floating voters who don't really support a team, but they have a team that they follow, they come out and support England, just like Chris said, as New Zealanders do to support the All Blacks. Like it's quite fantastic. But it's not just England, right? It's every single country in the competitions. And what you said, Bebbo, how they do soccer competitions is unparalleled to any other competition. Just as I said, like go and watch the highlights for the Netherlands against Romania. Just have a look at the fans. There's not a single seat which does not have an either orange jersey representing Netherlands, or I think Romanians are wearing red or white, I think it was. Every single fan, flares going off in the audience. The passion from the crowd is just unreal. Some of the chants and all that. So it's amazing to see. And you're talking about atmosphere with the Saudi boxing league. You're not going to get that in Saudi. Like it's something to behold.
Imagine letting a flare off. Imagine letting a flare off in a Saudi Arabia stadium. There's a fair chance of going home with neither of your hands.
That's it.
It wouldn't be a flare, it's just a rocket launcher or something. What do you think of the format? Well, they started with 24 teams, six groups of 4, 24 teams, and they come up with 16 teams, right? So top 2 out of each group, and then the 4 with the best record, which
like the Super Rugby
is a bit skewed. Well, it's a bit skewed, right? Yeah, no, but I just think it's a bit skewed. Obviously, got to get to 16 because then it just works its way down. Why don't they, instead of having so many qualifiers to make the Euros, why don't they have a 32-team competition, 8 pools of 4? You got to finish in the top 2 to make the round of 16.
Because they already have qualifiers to this competition.
Maybe minimise the qualifications, right? So there's less qualifiers, and then expand the tournament so it's 32.
Well, it's money, isn't it? Like, the more teams they can fit in, the more money they generate. So why not, really?
But I am telling you to put more teams in. What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying the other way around, like too many matches and everyone gets a medal, like in Super Rugby.
I'm saying instead of having so many qualifiers to refine it down to 24, refine it to 32 and have 8 groups of 4. Top 2 go through out of each group, because it's a bit weird. Okay, you talk about the Ukraine group where it's 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. You could sit there and argue, well, that was a competitive group, so Team 3 should have went through, or all this sort of stuff. But was it a competitive group? Maybe the team that was in the group with, I don't know, who was 2 good teams together? Italy and, well, you can go that well. But, like a group that had 2 clearly good teams, the third team might have been better than the second team in another group, theoretically. Yeah. But why would Team 3 out of that group go through just because Team 1 and 2 weren't that good? So I don't really like the format. And I know we've seen the Rugby League World Cup where they have a shit format too, which basically ensures that the top 4 nations or 3 nations make it to the next level, without being fair to any of the emerging nations. And we've seen it in a few different sports over the thing. I feel that if you're going to break it down to 16, you're going to have finals of 16, you're going to have finals of 8, the groups need to be double that, and you just have the top 2 out of the groups advance, because realistically, did any of the third teams go any good?
Well, who actually came through as third place? Didn't
Georgia's won. Georgia came through as third, and they got fucking pumped 4-1.
Did Germany?
No, Germany didn't come through as third.
They didn't win.
They topped their group.
They topped their table, mate.
Did they?
Yeah, they scored like 10 goals in their pool.
Yeah. 10 goals to 2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. France didn't top their group. Netherlands didn't top their group. Netherlands came third.
Yeah, right. Okay. So
Austria won that group. That was the group I was thinking of, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
So Netherlands are pushed through from third place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it's... Do you like the format? Let's put it that way. I'm not a fan, but do you like the format?
It prolongs the competition. So they start playing qualifiers 2 years out, and the qualifiers in its own respect becomes a competition in its own rights. So it's already a long competition. I don't know if there'd be implications with adding too many matches. I know the EPL have had dramas trying to not add teams, but trying to increase breaks, so like have a winter break and not make the teams play. And a lot of managers have come out, like I know, competitions across Europe, they have a winter break and all that jazz. So I don't know if they would actually be able to. Maybe they're a bit handcuffed with. It's like rugby union's got the issue now of playing too many matches, and player welfare is obviously the most important thing that we discussed is a complete lie.
It wouldn't be any longer. You add an extra teams; they can play on the same day. They're not adding actual team. You're not actually adding individual games, like games to an individual over the tournament. A guy that goes through on a country that wins this, right, will play the most amount of matches, or even the runner-up. They'll play the most amount of matches out of everybody. They'll play 3 pool games, round of 16, round of 8, round of 4, and the final, right? They'll play 7 games. If you added 8 teams to make it a 32-team comp, they would still play the same amount of games. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't increase that. It would just increase the
They don't
amount
increase
of.
by one by your pool games
overall.
because you play everybody or however many you added to the pool because you'd add those extra
No,
games
you're not
in the
adding
pool.
to the pool. You're adding pools, not people to the pool. It'd
Oh,
still
yeah,
be
true
4
that.
teams
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
pool.
true,
There'd just
true,
be
true,
8
yeah.
pools.
Yeah, you just have another couple of pools. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do like that. I think it's typically what they have done in the past. I know in the World Cups they do that. I don't really know why they've done it for this. Could be a few reasons, but yeah, I think it does it add anything, another dimension? Not really, because you're still going to get, like you said, eliminated at a point unless you win it. So you're just prolonging
you got
that.
8 more Cinderella teams, mate. 8 more Cinderella teams, and everyone loves the Cinderella team. Now, I mean, getting off topic. We're well off topic here already. That's my fault. But is Russia eligible to play in the Euros or not? As a Eurasian nation or whatever, but have they been expelled due to their off-field activity, or are they was never been part of the process?
Well, I don't know if they got reinstated. They did get boycotted. No. It looks as though they weren't banned. Oh, sorry, they were banned. Yeah, they were banned, so they wouldn't even be able to qualify. And I think Hungary were as well because they were come out in support of Russia. So
Right.
yeah, I think those two got the boot from FIFA and UEFA, which has obviously really deterred them from fighting the war. So
They'll end up playing in Saudi Arabia.
and China, yeah, and North Korea.
and like the Olympics, even though they just let the athletes compete under like a no flag nation or something.
Yeah, unaffiliated. Well, that's just dumb, isn't it?
Wow, that's really doing its job. Yes.
Yeah.
Woo.
It's like dirt testing all your Chinese swimmers, letting them all fail. China saying, "Oh no, they all took the same batch of protein that was infected," and then, they're in the games because WADA couldn't find any evidence to suggest otherwise. Surprising, that isn't it? It's just like trying to detect where COVID originated from. Yeah. We still don't know where that one happened, do we? So what are they going to do?
Maybe the Cronulla Sharks should have come up with that theory. Yeah, it was just tainted protein powder that all the athletes ate. It wasn't peptides or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Well, Penrith haven't been found out yet. Not saying they will, but there's potential there. Alrighty, we've gone way off topic, but that was interesting. So we'll jump on to our massive sports cock of the week, and we'll kick off with yourself, Chris. Who have you got for your nomination this week?
We're going to go to last week's first.
Yeah, I was about to say, actually.
Jesus, just jumps ahead. This motherfucker.
I'm just used to you not being prepared, so...
Well, I was prepared, but it's not showing up. Oh, it's still showing. Oh, here we go. Okay, so... We have... No, it's not showing up. Got no idea.
Thanks for that, Bebbo. Chris, who have you got?
It's not showing up.
Okay, so my massive sports cock of the week. So I'll explain the story first. So UFC 303, fighter Peyton Talbot came off a pretty decent knockout, and after a 20-second KO, left the octagon to go back, obviously backstage to go back, have a shower and so on and so forth, and then was denied re-entry because they were asking him, do you have a ticket? And he was like, no, I just fought. And they're like, no exceptions. You've got to go. So by all accounts, now I don't know if this is actually happens or not, and I'll try and run it to ground for the next podcast to see if it is actually true. But that's the story coming out at the moment that apparently, and this would obviously be for a lot of the, I suppose, the prelim fighters too, because obviously the main guys you sort of see sitting cage side after. So by all accounts, he was kicked out and wasn't allowed in to watch the rest of the card, nor watch it out the back, and he was escorted outside. So my massive sports cock of the week is the UFC. How can you not let a bloke who's just fought on your card
Fighters have a ticket.
Just at least enjoy the show, even from backstage, whatever. But yeah, my massive sports the UFC. I'll run that ground for next week, and I'll let you know if I can find out if that's true or not.
And what a performance from him too. Brilliant performance. He's a good fighter.
Correct.
Very good fighter.
Unlucky.
Go on then, Bebbo. Who have you got, mate?
All right, well, I've managed to get last week's results up. So before I pick this week, so last week David Warner got 0%, which must really sting you, Millsy. Must sting you almost as much as Virat Kohli retiring as the world champion of T20 cricket.
Could have been worse. Could have been David Warner.
And that was an even split at the top for Shoaib Bashir for getting absolutely spanked in an over, and Andrew Johns for being a hypocritical faggot. So 50-50, but I could have went easy this week and taken Ollie Robinson, who beat Shoaib Bashir's record, didn't leave him at it for a week, got smacked 43 runs off one over. But
you would have wanted that as well because he's hated in Australia.
Anyhow, I've gone away from that, and I've gone to the NBA, and Bronny James averaged per game in his last college season just 19.4 minutes, 4.8 points, which is tied for 2,218th position across the NCAA.
That's impressive.
2.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists, less than one steal but more than one turnover. Scoring on less than 37% of his shots, which is the fourth worst accuracy among his whole team's roster. Less than 20% of attempted three-pointers, worst accuracy on his roster amongst any player that attempted a three-point shot. And less than 68% from the free throw line, which wouldn't even land him in the top 400 free throw players in the NBA. So he was still selected second round by the LA Lakers ahead of Trojan teammate and fellow guard Boogie Ellis, who absolutely destroyed him in every statistical category in college, along with his performances on game day. Yet he wasn't drafted because he doesn't have a famous dad. And look, there's no arguing that LBJ is one of the best statistical players the NBA's ever seen. But bowing to the whims of a 39-year-old athlete with one foot in the retirement home, just because he expressed a desire to one day play with his underqualified son, doesn't just reek of nepotism or short-sightedness for the future of the franchise. It's just plain fucking dumb cuntness. So for that, my nomination for the massive sports cock of this week is the LA Lakers franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, no comment on that. That's just, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's, I think, Bronny James, very original name actually, which is good. Came out and said it will be totally justified their decision, yada yada yada. Yeah, so of course he has to say that. Sounds a bit like Caleb Williams in NFL at the moment.
That's like saying, yeah, I'm no good against 12-year-olds, but I'm going to be absolutely fine in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. it's gonna be interesting to see how that one plays out. Cool. So I'm sticking on topic, and we mentioned him before. I'm sticking with Cristiano Ronaldo. So if you don't know already, he missed a penalty in today's match in normal time to put Portugal through. Luckily, that penalty didn't actually mean much, even though there was a this is getting to it, getting to a wonder save at the end. So Portugal ended up going through, but when Ronaldo missed a penalty, he started blowing up in tears, which is just a bit embarrassing, to be honest. Nothing else to say. And he was interviewed after the match, in which he was quoted and saying he hit rock bottom after he missed that penalty. Now, I don't know how detached soccer players are from reality, but this sort of emphasized it. If you hit rock bottom, I think he should go and have a long, hard chat with the bloke sitting outside the pub on a Monday night, because I'm pretty sure that's rock bottom, mate. Not playing in front of thousands of fans and millions in front of the TV. So get over yourself, get out the team. You scored no goals. Your time's up. you're an individual playing a team sport, and you've done nothing for Portugal. So at this competition, so my massive sports cock of the week nomination is Cristiano CR7.
Oh God! Imagine if he
Rumour
goes.
has it that
Imagine if he goes on a tear.
no, you go.
Imagine if he goes on an absolute tear, just scores like
I
bang,
gave-
bang, 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 wins golden
Well,
boot for the
I gave
tournament.
Cody a spray, and he's just come up as Bebbo said, a world champion.
Oh fuck, that'd be
yeah.
embarrassing.
Look,
I mean, he's had all season playing against Postman in the Saudi Arabia League to prepare for this competition, so he's had a good warm up.
rumours have it that his tears flooding the field over there was almost the biggest natural disaster Germany's witnessed since Adolf's birth. So,
Oh fuck! I knew something like that was coming.
fuck yeah, two nasty
Two
jokes
nasty
in one
jokes.
episode. Boom.
What did we just say before this podcast about trying to grow it? See you later, German supporters.
Maybe not all of them.
True. Alrighty. Let's hastily jump onto our next topic and the final topic for our unsolicited financial advice, and let's talk about something that hurt. That hurt last week. It got me right in the feels, especially after the first half in State of Origin Game 2 and some of the fallout from that. So, let's start with you, Chris. How were you feeling after Wednesday night's antics?
That first half was something else, eh? Like, obviously, to watch them get blown off the park like that. I mean, you go to game one, I know they're a man down, but, what did it end up, 38-12 or whatever it was, and then, obviously pretty dominant in that. And then for New South Wales to not make too many wholesale changes, really. All the changes that they made were pretty much what we'd echoed on the podcast anyway, and pretty much what everyone else had echoed as well. But the fact they came out and were just, that first 40 minutes were just so dominant. The positive is, I suppose, Queensland won the second half, as bad as that sounds. Obviously you don't win the game, you get thrashed, but they still won the second half. So, be interesting to see how they turn up for game 3. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was a pretty morbid viewing. What did you think of the match, Bebbo?
Well, I actually went to the Townsville Casino to watch this one.
Ooh,
I thought I'd try
very good.
it out. And
So it's your fault we lost.
yeah, I had a table there with a mate, and there was a couple of spare chairs. So we end up letting a lovely Irish expat couple share the table with us. They traded in the cold environment of Dublin to go live in the cold environment of northern Sydney years ago. So they were supporting the Blues. So unfortunately, I had to deal with so much cheering while Queensland got smacked harder than Adrian Peterson's children. But look, I'm not as disappointed by the result, and I obviously was at the time. The first half, halfway through the second half, I'd already accepted the loss. So, it was kind of, it is what it is. But look, I'm not as disappointed in the fact that they lost, more than disappointed in the fact that we've had 2 games in this series now, and neither of them have been particularly competitive. It's shit. Like, game 3 has a lot of pressure on its shoulder to build the magic that is State of Origin, and it's usually tight, hard-fought contests. And right now, it's just been one team flogging one, then the other team flogging the other. The women's NRLs, and I'm not saying this from a virtual signalling standpoint, and I'm not saying that it's a better spectacle, but I'm saying the competition, the competitiveness of the women's NRL games this year, or State of Origin games this year, has far exceeded the men's. Every single game with at least 5 minutes to go is still in the balance. Game 2 was decided by a field goal. Even the under-19s men's game a couple of weeks ago, which was a fantastic spectacle, up until, maybe 5-6 minutes to go, was still in the balance. We haven't seen anything so far that's even exciting for either fan base, to be fair.
I think, though, to be fair to that, like you mentioned, in years gone by, I think I saw some stat last year that most Origin games have been decided by 2.8 points or less or whatever it is. Like, so what we're talking about here is two absolute anomalies back to back.
Normally.
It's kind of like having two solar eclipses back to back. And I take your point. It's not a good spectacle. You know, even game one, when you watch them and they're thrashing them, and they were down a man, you know, but it's still not. You don't want it. You don't want to thrash them. You want it. You want it to be close. You want it to be a nail biter. You want it to go down to the wire. So, yeah, I think to be honest, mate, I think these are just two anomalies. I hope so. Anyway, I hope if game three is an absolute slaughter, that'd just be horrid.
Look, okay, let's talk about the game for a second, right? And this is one thing that irked me in this game outside of the fact that one team really turned up, one team kind of, they looked like they didn't even show up till after half time, like you said, Chris. But at that point, well, teams generally relax when they got that big of a lead, so I wouldn't take too much stock in the fact that they won the second half.
Trying to avoid getting injured, pretty much, weren't they?
So New South Wales came out and they kept being physical and they did all this stuff, right? And you've got guys niggling a bit and Latrell's still doing his dirty shit, but that's just Latrell, right? That is just him. But when that fucking melee broke out, what has State of Origin become? You and I, Chris, talked 2 episodes ago about how good it would be for the Biff to come back. You know, if they're going to bring all this rivalry, let them throw hands. What is this push and shove shit? Someone needs to drop someone on the chin because 2 guys still got put in the bin and they didn't even throw punches. So if you're going to get sin bin for that, fucking put one on some cunt's chin.
Yeah, rubbed his hair and then got sin bin. That's not right. It's weird though, isn't it? Because that was a sin bin. And I know what you're saying, Bebbo, with we expect Origin to get turned up a notch and the penalising gets turned down. I think it was Liam Martin's tip tackle in the first half when he just let the player go. I mean, if you're going to give a yellow, that's worse than rubbing someone's hair, right? So where's the consistency?
It was also worse than Roger Tuivasa-'s checks tackle the week before that got him put in the bin. But
exactly. But that's what I mean with Origin being turned off there. You can't compare it.
But neither of them are sin bins. Rogers wasn't a sin bin. Liam Martin certainly wasn't a fucking sin bin. I have no issue with him not being sin bin. He shouldn't have been. But yes, how do you not penalise that and then penalise him for rubbing someone's head?
Yeah, it's stupid.
I agree,
To me, it only felt like he sent or sin binned Liam Martin because he was going to sin bin Pat Carrigan as well. So it was even. I don't think
he sin binned people because he lost control of the game. And he lost control of the game because he refereed a shit game. And I know it had no effect on the result. New South Wales played the pants off Queensland. There's no doubt about it. But he was doing a shit job at refereeing that game. Ashley Klein was horrible. He puts too much. Most games he referees, it's all about him. There is more. I don't know. I'd love to see a statistic on how many 6-agains and penalties he calls in comparison, on average, to any other fucking referee in the NRL. But everything is about him. That first half was literally him going,
unreal.
6 again. You got guys like Wayne Bennett, Trent Robinson, Ricky Stewart coming out this week saying we don't even know what 6-again calls are anymore. They're just literally picking them out. I was watching it
every time.
I know I've probably got my maroon glasses on here, but I was watching that first half going, what the fuck was that one for? It's like 6 in a row, and you're like, what is this for? Like, honestly.
They need to take that out of the game, totally. I agree, and that's not just at Origin. I think it's everywhere, because as a Warrior, again, you know, you talk from a Queensland perspective, as a Warriors supporter watching games, and it's just 6 again, and it's just ruck infringement or whatever it is, you know? It's like, well, anything could be a ruck infringement if you want to control the game and control the outcome. And now I'm not saying the NRL's rigged. That's for another day. That's for another podcast. But I just think...
but it probably is.
I've got a feeling of that watching the game, to be honest. But
when when it's just like, I think that and the bunker are the two of the biggest things that are just absolutely trashing the game at the moment. That ruck infringement. It was like when they had the foray of 2 referees in the game. That just fucked the game as well, you know. So I don't know. I'm with you, Bebbo. I think that the whole 6 again thing is just when they can just control the game and control the flow of the game, the flow and possession of the game, particularly when they're in a red zone. And what does the NRL want? They want tries. They want spectators. We want points and we want tries, right? And so if you notice, a lot of the 6 again calls will be down in that, like as they're rolling into that sort of red zone
Inside
area.
the 20. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, they are.
Correct.
Yeah. They're hardly ever anywhere else, are they? That's a good point.
Well, in that game, okay, so Queensland got a pretty rough end of the pineapple in that first 20 minutes with 6 again calls. Like, I don't know, like it was probably 6 or 8 6 again calls, 2 penalties, and literally none the other way. And I know they didn't have much ball, but like none the other way. In the second half, because the score was so lopsided, Queensland started getting these 6 again calls that were just, I was still like, again, maroon coloured glasses on, but watching going, how the fuck did New South Wales just get penalised for that? Like, there was no holding down. There's been well worse occasions of that in the first half, and now this one's a penalty. So they just have their fingerprints on too much. It's over adjudicated. They need to let them play. And again, going back to the women's state of origin, watch game 3. They let them play. That referee, Belinda, whatever her name is, should learn a name. Bit disrespectful. I don't know her name, eh? But anyhow, she's not the greatest referee, but she does a decent job, and she just let them play. She stood back and let the players decide that competition without her getting involved when she didn't need to. And it's such a better spectacle because you just don't want to see 6 again constantly. Bring back penalty goals. If they're going to fucking do that, bring back 2-point penalty goals because I feel like referees don't think that calling 6 again is as detrimental as giving a penalty away might be. You know, like it won't get criticised as much. But when you do 9 of them in a row, it's certainly going to get criticised, mate.
I mean, going back to conspiracy and all that stuff, I'm just going to add a bit of fire to the fuel and then probably just drop out for a bit. But
you're going to add fire to the fuel? I mean, it works both ways.
It does. I have to say, it's probably more dangerous.
One way.
Yeah, exactly.
One way's a bomb. The other way's.
Well, speaking of Saudi Arabia in this podcast, what am I saying? Before, when it was 0-0, Lindsay Collins got called for a high shot. I can't remember who it was on. Not in a million years is it a high shot. I honestly felt that...
Was that late in the tackle count? Was that the one late in the tackle count? Because there
was one.
There was one. If you looked at it the second time, he definitely clocked him high.
He got him with the elbow, like inside of the elbow on his chin as the player was falling. I mean, how many times does that happen in the match? Like, to me, they were looking for stuff like that to try and give New South Wales a leg up. And talking about conspiracies, I'm not saying that Queensland would have won that match anyway because New South Wales was just on. When you play a team like that and they're just on, there's nothing you can do. But that was when it was 0-0 and Queensland were an equal play and they just made a break down the left, and then that triggered 6 agains for fucking 30 minutes after that. And I just felt that was a big turning point in the game, and I think that was not a high shot, especially at origin level, where the tolerances turned up a bit. And the other thing with this, and you don't hear people saying this, after last game 1, when Swali got sent off, everyone was saying it's ruined the spectacle. Queensland have run away with it. You hear no one saying that after this match. Well, this match was even worse in terms of running away with it because it's not blaming the referee. It's easy to blame Queensland. To me, and what we've just said, it very much falls on the ref because he did help them with those weird 6 again calls, and the game's gone by halftime. It's gone.
That's on Queensland, mate. Oh, that's on Queensland.
But what I'm saying is the tactics, though. Swalihi got told to definitely go after Reece Walsh. So to blame the ref.
Definitely did he? But
100%. He targeted him.
You're in the team meetings. Every fucking outside back in the league.
It didn't have to be in the team meetings.
Jams in on fullbacks.
They came out in the media and said they're going to target Reece Walsh. They came out and said it before the game.
Mate, of course you're going to fucking target Reece Walsh. Of course you're going to target their best players.
But isn't that to do with the tactics? And he got it wrong. You can't blame the ref for making that call. You got to blame the coaching and all that stuff. You got to say first and foremost, try and tackle low. Do not get sent off.
Only fuckwits were blaming the ref for game 1 for sending him off on game 1.
But it was the same fuckwits that weren't blaming the ref and not blaming Queensland for the spectacle that was ruined because it was over by half time.
The same fuckwits that blame the ref in game one blame the on-field ref. It's like he's not the one that actually made the decision to send him off. He's just the one that had to give the
red card out.
He's the judge after the jury told him the decision. You know what I mean? That's silly, but no one's blaming that. And everyone's going to target your best players. Every centre and winger jams in on fullbacks to fuck them up. It is not uncommon. It went wrong.
100%.
They copped it. They got sent off the end. I know what you're saying there. You're thinking that they wanted to make more of a spectacle out of it by bringing New South Wales back into it so the series isn't dead after one game because of the way game one ended. Yeah, it's funny that all those New South Welshmen that immediately said, well, that's it, the series is over, 10 minutes into the first game, are now like, fuck yeah, we're going to win this series. We're going to smash them in game 3. It's like, going off last performance, maybe they will. But Queensland at Suncorp Stadium in game 3, good fucking luck.
They've never lost a series from being 1-0 up since 94. Yeah. So, and it's at Suncorp. I don't know the last time. Oh, it was actually quite recent, wasn't it, when they lost at Suncorp? And they played all 3 matches in Queensland.
I think it's similar to what just happened to the Warriors against the Titans. Teams typically, when they come out after such a pasting like that, they're not going to get pasted back to back. And I think defensively they'll be far more sound. It'll be interesting to see what changes they make to the side too. I mean, that's going to have a lot to do with it. And obviously, they've got to try and contain Latrell Mitchell, and they've got to try and contain Mitchell Moses after his man of the match performance.
Who would have picked that?
Who would have done that?
No?
The real Cameron Smith is on this podcast.
Yeah. So, I'll be interested to see the changes they make in order to try and contain those players because I felt like they were the...
They don't need to contain Moses, mate. They don't need to contain Moses. They need to contain New South Wales go forward, and Moses can't play.
Fafita.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, they got steamrolled. So Mitchell Moses had all the time in the day to pick and choose what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. And he played brilliant. His kicking game was awesome, and we knew his kicking game was going to be good. When isn't it? But people talking up Latrell like he had a fucking game-changing impact. He threw a flick pass, mate, and he scored a try that fucking Jenny from the block could have scored because he just caught the ball.
But he stuck his tongue out and did a great celebration. So,
but take a step back. Take a step back to the game prior. New South Wales needed that mongrel coming into that game, and as much as I don't like the bloke either, but you got to give credit where credit's due. He did bring that mongrel to the New South Wales squad that they needed. And so I think that part of that...
He didn't play over the top. I don't get why people are blowing it up like he's like the second coming of Jesus Christ. And maybe he is, but Jesus Christ is fictional too. So
I agree with you. I think Crichton had a... Yeah, I agree with you. I think Crichton on the right had a far better game. Yeah. Dogs premiership in 3 to 4.
Angus Crichton was a shit ton better. Angus Crichton was the best player on the field. He is so fucking good.
Yeah, he was class.
But yes, I get what you're saying. They need to try and change it to shut him down. But they can't shut down Moses. They need to shut down Moses' opportunities is what they need to shut down.
Yeah.
And they have to do that by one of that's attitude because they got beaten out the blocks and they never recovered.
One thing I did like to see, and it was quite interesting watching the counterfactual from game 1. Every time New South Wales made a break, there were more Queensland players around him than New South Wales. You flip back to game 1, there's more Queenslanders, not even close. 3 or 4 more Queenslanders around the player in support. And that just was not the case in this match. Case in point, when Crichton made the break towards the end of the first half after the interception, not a single New South Wales player in the picture, and there's about 5 or 6 Queenslanders getting around him, and that's after they've been pumped. So I do think there's some silver linings to take, not many, but there's a few positives, and playing for the shirt is definitely alive and well with Queensland. Where I'd question some of the New South Wales players if tables were turned. No New South Wales player is getting back there. Queensland are scoring that every day of the week because there's 3 or 4 of them in support the other way around.
Yeah, but like I said, it's easy to sit there and criticise stuff when the game's over, and the game was over. Like Queensland in game
100%.
1, like there was a portion there where it was 18-10 or something like that, or 20-10. And you were like, fuck me, we're a man up. We've been a man up for a long time, and we're not actually really putting them to the sword. We didn't play that good in game 1. And maybe that was a flow-on effect because they didn't have to put on and they started really well, and then they sort of relaxed because they went up, and maybe they brought that attitude into game 2, and now they've had a reset. So game 3, I'm hoping, is going to be really exciting. But you talked about changes, Chris. What changes would you propose? And let's keep in mind, we don't know if Hammer's going to be fit, but we'll assume he's going to be. Xavier Coates just did his hammy on the weekend, and I highly doubt he's going to be available. So what changes would you make?
I would, to be honest, and everyone's going to crush me for saying this, I would drop Reece Walsh. I honestly would drop Reece Walsh. I don't think he's done anything this whole series, and particularly in that second game. I don't know what's going on with him, but I wouldn't have him in my side in game 3, unfortunately.
What Joseph Suaalii did to him in game 1 worked for game 2 because he didn't want a fucking bar of anything. I know it cost them the game, but it's done its job. Ponga's back this week for Newcastle.
Is he?
Yeah.
I reckon he brains it. I'm bringing KP straight into the fucking team.
Yeah, I'd have him in even if it doesn't.
Reece Walsh needs to turn up this week for Brisbane and have a fucking blinder to keep his spot. And don't get me wrong.
And even then, I don't know.
Reece Walsh is a good player, but he looked scared that last game, which is fair enough, all right?
Yeah.
Every time you're catching the ball, someone's coming out of left field to try and take your head off. That's a scary fact. But KP, I would have picked KP before Reece Walsh was fit for game 1. I love KP. He's a straight fullback as far as I'm concerned.
I reckon he's one of the best players in the comp. He's paid the most for the reason as well. It just adds so much.
So, would you cut in again?
No, I was going to say, would you bring Fafita back for game 2? Yeah.
I would have brought him back for game 1, but
we need the size. And
we do.
You need the physicality.
I think you're happy to stay with Sewer starting on that edge because we're lacking middles. I'd probably start Sewer on the edge. First change, Sewer moves into the middle. Fafita comes onto that left edge. Takes 20 minutes out of his game, just gives him 60 minutes to be a bit more explosive. And Sewer's such a hard hitter in the middle of the field. But are you taking Kaufusi out for that or Capewell?
Kaufusi, I think.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Only because Capewell, we go back to the versatility of Capewell.
Yeah,
and in Origin,
that's right. I agree.
You need the versatility,
I was going to say, I think it's a straight swap for Cobbo. So maybe you could argue if Slater had ideas with Cobbo and his versatility, you could argue that Kaufusi still finds his way in if we're still lacking a bit of size. And he chops people down in defence, Kaufusi. He's pretty good at stopping it.
He got fuck all minutes in that last game, mate. And Sewer can do the same thing Kaufusi can do. That's my point.
I would just be worried about taking a big player. I know that Capewell's not a small fella, but it's not the same as Kaufusi in my opinion. I don't know. Pick your poison in my opinion. I don't think
I feel like their that back 5 is in real disarray at the moment. I know they're coming off a big loss, but I thought Murray Taulagi had a shit game. Reece Walsh had a shit game. I just think they're really, really in trouble in that back 5. And I don't know what they do with it now.
It's crazy, isn't it? How
they went from game 1.
Tables.
You know what I think? I think losing Hammer has not helped because he's such a star player, and so is Reece Walsh. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Reece Walsh is an amazing player, but I just think is he built for Origin? You know, is he built for Origin? And I think Hammer's he's a game changer. You know, so with him out,
would you put Hammer at fullback, mate?
If he was fit, if he was
Ponga's
fit,
fit.
no,
Like over everyone else in Queensland.
Hammer,
over Ponga.
Nah.
only because only at the moment,
Hammer at fullback over Ponga. Fuck no.
Only at the moment because he's come back from injury. Only because he's come back from injury.
No, that's what I'm saying. If everyone was fully fit, 100% fit.
Fully fit. No, fully fit. Yeah, I'd have KP for sure.
Oh.
Yeah,
right.
No, sorry, I thought you were talking about just the game 3. No. Yeah, definitely.
No.
You know, but then you've got Cobbo's gone off the reservation. You know, like they're in all sorts.
Well, he's going to have to replace Coates. Cobbo's going to have to replace Coates.
Yeah, he
absolutely.
We've got Gagai that could come in too, and maybe Slater goes back and fucks Kate well off, puts Gagai on a wing and puts Cobbo back on the bench too. But if Coates is playing on the right and you replace Gagai with Coates, you've made that side smaller. Valentine Holmes is already going to struggle to contain that side. That's a weak point. I would not be doing that, but also don't really like Cobbo defending outside Holmes on that side either. So, I think that whole right side is a bit weak, to be honest.
Well, luckily they're against Latrell Mitt, who's not the best himself at defence.
Yeah, but he's good in attack, so we're not worried about that. We're not worried about the attacking prowess. It's the other side of it. I don't know. I'd be back them. They're, like the great Fatty Vorton once said, he's a Queenslander, he'll do the job. So I'll back them all to do it. I'll throw Gags out there. But
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if
I think the attitude's going to be better.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad if Gagai came back in, because I think I said that maybe game 1 or 2, I had him on the bench. I mean, game 2, I think I had him on the bench coming back in because, you know,
I had him in my original team.
Yeah, I mean, is he getting old? Is he getting old? Yes. Long in the tooth? Yes. You know, but mate, with those years comes all that wealth of experience that he's played for Queensland, and like we said last time, when he plays for Queensland, hardness. He is a better Origin player than he is a club player. You know, so mate, I'm not mad if he comes back in, and I think it's strengthens to go to that point. Yeah, I think it strengthens up that back line and just gives them that, you know, a little bit of solidarity that I think they need at the moment, because they don't look good.
But you can't put Holmes and Gags on the one side of the field though.
No.
Surely.
No.
So if you do that and Hammer's fit, are you putting Hammer next to Holmes next to Gagai on the right? Or are you putting Cobbo in the centres over that side? Or maybe Gagai stays in the centres and Cobbo's on the wing?
I'd put Gagai in the centres.
Yeah, I'm not big on that, if I'm going to be honest.
You're not.
He's played all these good games at Origin on the wing. He's played all these good games at Origin on the wing.
Yeah.
He's not that great of a defender. Like I said, last week or the week before, fucking love Gagai. He's one of my favourite Queensland players of all time. If I had to pick the best Queensland team ever, it'd be one of the first players picked off performances. But he is not a very good defender. So I'm not big on putting him in the centres. Yeah. On the wing, fantastic. In the centres, tough sell. But we haven't even talked. I mean, you mentioned Taulagi wasn't good. He was horrible. He's played 2 good games all this season. The game before Origin 1 and Origin 1. These are only 2 good games he's played this season. Like, I was surprised he even got picked for the first Origin.
Me too. Yeah.
Proved his spot in that team. But he went back to what he was rounds 1 to 12 or 13 or whatever it was for Origin 2. Like that. Yeah. That Zach Lomax try, he didn't even get off the fucking ground.
Yeah,
like you're up against a guy who's a known leaper. You can't stand there on the ground. Get up or throw your fucking body into him when you jump. He's got so much more muscle mass on him. You got to use his weight. It just it shit me. It was such a lazy attempt, but it actually kind of, what's the word? Summed up the effort from the entire side. That the first half because it was piss ball.
Yeah.
Well, talking about liabilities on the pitch, we'll go to some financial liabilities now and our unlisted financial advice. So I don't think last week was very good, hence the liability comment. Did anyone get a leg up, Bebbo?
Yeah, I got one of my 3 legs. My two
congrats,
Euro
mate.
ones thing, but Jay Pfeiffer got an easy win against Marc-Andre Barriol. And one of the other legs came off, actually. I'm not.
I don't think it was my soccer one. I think I had Italy. Maybe it was Brazil who came
Yeah,
in.
it was Brazil.
Yeah.
Yes, Brazil.
What did I have?
They're the only one I needed to tip it over 3.
You went a couple of 1 to 12s, I believe, which is your go-to. Parramatta, which did not pay off.
No.
And
Souths, no? Dogs.
Ooh.
No, it wouldn't have been dogs.
Why not? You love the Dogs. Premiership 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
Parramatta head to head against Newcastle. You picked and Michael Page to beat Ian Gary in what was
and he lost. Yeah, he did too.
overhyped, underperforming fight I've ever seen from 2 strikers.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Well,
right.
this week we're going to get him back.
Road to redemption, Chris. What have we got?
You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, mate. What are you choosing?
All right. This week I'm going to take South 1 to 12. Love me 1 to 12. And I'm going to pair that with Cody Walker anytime. Cody Walker's always good to me with the anytimes, and that's $8.25.
Yeah, that was juicy. Yeah. I've also gone a 2-leg same-game multi in the NRL, except I've gone the Melbourne Storm just to beat the Tigers head-to-head. I probably should have a bit spicy and went 13+ because the Tigers are dog shit again. And Jerome Hughes to score any times, paying $3.22.
Oh,
interesting. All right. Well, yeah. So both in the same game for you then. A lot riding on them. When are those matches? When do Melbourne play?
Saturday night, I believe. Yeah, Saturday and Souths are pretty
Friday.
sure Friday.
Friday night. Okay, so it's away from the Thursday curse then, which is good. I'm going to go for England to beat New Zealand at about 5.5 to 1, I think. So
$5.97 actually.
Is it 5? Okay, so it's gone up since I last had a look this morning. So I don't think England or anyone has won at Eden Park for, I don't know how long it is, Chris. Probably
1987.
20+ years now.
1987 was the last time we lost at Eden Park. I think. Well, definitely to Australia. It was 1986, 1987 was the last time. No, I think that might be all time. But anyway, it's a real fortress, the old Eden Park. So I just think there's a few unknowns. You know what they call that? You know what they call that? When you look at one price in the morning and then you look at it in the afternoon, and then you look at it again at night time. You know what they call that? When it starts to go up, it's called drifting. It's called drifting. It's drifting. Price is drifting. The price is drifting. For good reason.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, the reason that I went with it is I don't think England lose that game 5 times. What are we saying? So it's saying that England will win that 1 out of 6. I think the odds are better than that for England. I think they win that probably 1 in 3. I just think New Zealand are a bit unknown at the moment. England.
That is not the way to look at those odds. I'll tell you what. No, absolutely not. Is that how you look at odds? No chance. What they're saying is there's going to be enough dumb poms to bet on this that if we give them $5.97,
get the market right,
we're going to make a shit ton of money coming at us. So that's what those odds mean.
You're better off taking the line. You're better off taking the line. I think the line was 12.5 or 12.5.
That would have
been
a decent bet.
The line,
wouldn't have been enough, but would have been $1.90.
Yeah, it'd be $1. Yeah, $1.91.
$1.91.
I think they're actually favourites at the line. I think it was $1.86 maybe. So, yeah, I think it'll be close. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park for the All Blacks, but I just can't see. I can't see them getting done.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. There's a lot of international rugby union this weekend and a lot of sport going on as well. So
I just like I just like it's on before my multi, so I've got 3 legs for you guys to ruin it before I do. So, all right. So just to recap, we got same game multi on Friday. South 1-12 against who they're playing this week, Chris?
Para, I think.
Parramatta, they are. Is that Thursday night or is it Friday? Thursday night.
Is it Thursday? Ooh,
Right.
God. Sorry, boys.
Oh, Thursday curse.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, it is. Yep, Thursday night. South 1-12 against Para and Cody Walker anytime. New Zealand in the rugby union to go down to England head to head at Eden Park.
This must be about 1,000 to 1.
Melbourne Storm just to beat the Tigers head to head with Jerome Hughes anytime try scorer. Power played on Sportsbet $165.06 to 1.
Some fruity odds there.
Here's some financial advice. Save your money.
Maybe we should throw out a disclaimer: Masturbated Sports or its members and no advice use any information heard on this podcast as financial advice. Now throw your house at it.
Good work. Thank you.
Spicy.
Jesus, that's fucking huge.
Well, the skin's almost worn off it. So that's us for this episode. Please follow us on our socials. Search for Masturbated Sports on Facebook and Instagram.
Subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts.
And most importantly, join us again next episode for some more engaging discussions,
Diverse perspectives,
and to experience the friction of masturbated sports.